Hello, you all. Welcome to this new edition of Lectio Musica, the place for great lyrics, great music, and great meaning. My name is Guilain Prince. I'm a Franciscan friar from Canada, and since my teenage years, I love rock music, especially hard rock, metal, and prog. And I love, once a week, to stop a little bit with you guys, to listen closely to a new song for me, maybe not for you, to look at closely the lyrics and to see how the song is constructed and try to understand the meaning of that song. And this week, this is the analysis of a song by Nightwish, one of their early songs, all the way back to their first album, The Angels Fall First, sorry. And it's the title track of that album. And now, I have learned from the fans something I didn't know at first. It is their first album, but for Nightwish, it was a demo. But the producer liked it so much that he published it as is, which means that for Nightwish, from Nightwish perspective, it's an unfinished album. So it might explain why some of the songs we've listened in the past, already two from this album, does not have, I would say, the nuances and or the perfection of a finished work. And I think it's a little bit the case for this week. We listened to that beautiful song, Angels Fall First, a little bit earlier this week. Obviously, I'm in a new setting, not because I will stay here, but because my computer is here this morning. And we will go through that song and analyzing the words, the lyrics, and how the song has been constructed. Now, here is the screen. And here is, sorry, I have a little bit of sand in my... If you see me crying, it's not only because the song is beautiful. So there we go. I just give myself all the information on my screen and we will be ready to go. There it is. We are in a journey of 24 songs through Nightwish repertoire. It will be spread on 2 years, 2 times 12 songs. This is the 4th, so we are pretty much at the beginning. This 4th song follows the one we did last week, The Carpenter, and we reacted already to a video, to a studio version and a live version. So if you haven't seen this reaction, go back. You will appreciate even more the analysis of the song after hearing the song. Here is the analysis in English. Now don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel as well as push the little bell so that you will be notified as soon as a new video comes out. Now, Angels Fall First. This is the 5th song of a demo that became the first album of Nightwish, Angels Fall First. So it's a title track. The lyricist and composer is Thomas. I would say we come back to Thomas. Last song, The Carpenter, for me it was the first time that the composer was not Thomas but the band. Now we come back to Thomas, and it will show. I'll explain why. After beautiful steel string guitars and keyboard that has a sound of what we call strings, so orchestral sound, we enter into the first verse. First verse. An angel face smiles to me under a headline of tragedy. That smile used to give me warmth. Farewell, no words to say besides the cross on your grave and those forever burning candles. Angelic face of someone, angelic face of a human being. We will come back because this is the meaning of angels fall first. It's not angels, I would say spiritual being. No, it's human, good human being. So a beautiful, someone with a beautiful face, angelic face, smiles to me under a headline of tragedy. You understand it was a tragic, probably accident that caused the death of a very good person. This smile, probably the living smile, used to give me warmth. So it's a close one. We don't know the nature of the relation with the person, but we know it's a close one. Farewell, no words to say. Besides the cross on your grave, so the person is beside the cross on your grave, and the burning candle. So there's nothing to say really. Curiously, this song is built very differently from most, I would say, modern music. The alta, the fact that you have verse, chorus, or verse, chorus, and bridge. Here, right away, right after the first verse, there's a small flute-like sounding, I think it's a keyboard, it sounds very good, and it imitates the sound of a flute. Very beautiful, very delicate, very calm, peaceful, needed as elsewhere to remind us of the shortness of our time. Tears laid for them, tears of love, tears of fear. Bury my dreams, dig up my sorrows. O Lord, why the angels fall first? At first, there's a question mark for me. Who are tears laid for them? And then I turn towards the title, Angels. So the smiling face of the first verse, the angelic face, is one angel. But the song is exactly about that. That there are many good people leaving this earth. So the they here, or them, is all those good people leaving too soon. They are needed elsewhere. Sometimes this is an expression we have. The Lord needed them. Never brought any comfort to me anyway, as if the person was not needed here. But it's a saying. They are needed elsewhere, so they are called as elsewhere. I'm not sure of the reality of that, but it's a saying. But these sudden death reminds us of the shortness of our time. Tears laid for them, so all these leaving, we shed tears about them, tears of love, tears of fear. Of fear of what? Not of these people, not of the angels. Tears of death, tears of fear of death. Bury my dreams with the person. Probably I would understand that with these persons I buried my dreams with them. That's how I would. But it dig up sorrows, probably somewhere deep in me. I was able to kind of put a cap on these sorrows. Now every time it comes out, oh Lord, why the angels fall first? So this chorus ends with the prayer. Why? And this is pretty much the question we one of the questions we all have: why do the good people seems to fall first? Which is not true, of course, but this is the impression we have. It's a double loss in a way. The fact that they are good people and we lose them. Not retrieved by thought of Shangri-La. Sorry about that. Not relieved by thought of Shangri-La, nor enlightened by the lessons of Christ. I'll never understand the meaning of the right. Ignorance led me into the light. I had to look, like probably you would have looked, for Shangri-La. Shangri-La comes from a novel by an author I didn't know, James. And it talks about an accident in Tibet. And the person found refuge in a very far, very remote place called Shangri-La. So it's an imaginary world, and in that place we experience beautiful landscapes and time is suspended. I would understand it as a way, I would say a poetic way to talk some kind of heaven, some kind of place where there is calm and peace after a tragic accident, after maybe only death. So I'm not relieved by thoughts of this calm place of the afterlife, nor am I enlightened by the lessons of Christ. It does not make sense. These lessons do not make sense to him. I'll never understand the meaning of the right. Here, I'm not sure of the meaning of that, of the right. Of course, it's not the right-hand side. Right would be the just. Would that be the meaning of those righteous thought, righteous tales? Or is it these persons of who consider themselves as being right? I'm not sure of anything here. So if you have any idea, please write them down here. But one thing is that the meaning that probably the first line do not bring relief. Ignorance brought light. By this I understand very well. Sometimes we have what I call religious slogans that we serve to people when we are facing tragedies, death, suffering, and they are of no, from my point of view, they are not useful. Personally, I experienced that being side by side with the people suffering, it's much better than any kind of explanation, and it's not the time. Our faithfulness, our kindness is much better than any kinds of easy served expressions and words. I already said that. If you go back in Nightwish, the album Human Nature, my analysis of this song, How's Their Heart, I talk about this a lot. Be careful with the slogans and the easy songs or words that we give to the people at that time. And there we come again with that instrumental bridge or inter in between the verse and the chorus, an unexpected place, and the chorus comes back. Now there is another that would be probably, instead of an inter, that would be called here a real bridge. You have first a flute sounding keyboard like the others, but then the acoustic guitar comes in. Two guitars, in fact. As usual, I think until now, in the early compositions of Nightwish, I've heard many times two guitars and the flute sounding keyboard, I think, or there might be one real flute and flute sounding keyboard. I'm not sure, because the keyboards these days are very, very good, and even if we are in 1998, it could be still a good keyboard, an excellent keyboard. And there we enter in another section. I will explain that. It's a song that is not built on a popular structure, both in pop music or in rock music. It's something else, and I find always that I hear that with a lot of happiness. I like to be surprised. Another verse of a C kind, I call it. Another melody, another structure. Sing me a song of your beauty, of your kingdom. Let the melodies of your harps caress those whom we still need. Sing me a song. To whom is talking now? Sing me a song of your beauty. And for me, there's not much doubt here that the harps and the songs of a beautiful world, he is talking to angels. He sing me a song that will be a plural of your beauty. That's the plural of your kingdom. Let the melodies of your harps, the harps that we say in traditional painting, religious painting, we put harps in the hands of the angels. They sing and they play harp. Caress those whom we still need. So there is here a plea, a call to take care of those staying here, and they are affected by the death of these earthly angels. And then we come back on earth. Yesterday we shook hands. Now we're not talking to the angels anymore, but the melody is the same, but as you can see, a lot less words. So the melody is still there, but Talia has to sing long sustained notes in this verse. We shook hands, my friend. So the angel, the one who died in a tragic accident, was a friend. Today, a moonbeam lightens my path, my guardian. If it's a moonbeam, a light, it's in the night. And so I'm in the night, I'm in the dark. Remember that verse that my ignorance lead me to light. I think there is this idea that in the dark there is still a light from the moon, and this little beam of light coming from a faint source compared to the sun is my guardian angel. Now the angel of the earth is an angel of heaven, let's say that, and from now is my guardian. We shook hand on earth yesterday. Today, the light coming from the moon is like the touch of my friend in the night. There is an extra and finale of it's the same dramatic impression we get from the two last verse, but it's what it's called. It's dramatic, the same feeling, but it's punctuated. Boom, boom. They are. So the song ends with a question for me. In the instrumental section, there's a question, and also in the chorus. Why do angels fall first? The lyrics. There's a 3-section song with intro, extro, inter in the middle, and a bridge. As you can see, the structure is quite unusual. There's a verse that I called here A. There's a small inter, musical instrumental inter before B. The B is the chorus. There's a again, an inter, and the chorus, and then 2 verses are different, with the final, with the next row of a different kind. It's more. It still is in the same feeling as the C section, but with punctuation. So there is something is asked. So there's an insistence here. It's also, we can say about the poetry here, is a free poetry. It doesn't have the same number of syllable everywhere. There's a tendency to be regular, but I've seen that a lot. Only if I think I have analyzed maybe 15, 16 songs from Nightwish. I can see a characteristic of Thomas here. He is not constrained to I would say classical poetry. He works, and it's kind of tricky for the singer to be consistent, to be of equal. And we can see that Tarja does a very good job, but she probably struggled at the recording level for the section C, the second verse. That's demanding. It's much more difficult than it seems to sing that song, by the way. In terms of music, what I didn't like of the Carpenter, I do not find here. It is clearly the melody of a pianist, to the point that sometimes it's difficult for the singer. It's beautiful on the keyboard when the composer writes it on the keyboard. It's very beautiful, but it's very challenging for the singers. It is a song full of sadness, and it ends with an interrogation about these tragedies that we live, and all of those remaining after the departure of angels. What do we do? So Tarja shines in that kind of music, even if we see her inexperience. I don't know how old she is. I'm pretty sure she's quite young. She has a beautiful tone. She is very good, but we can really here and there, we can see it's not a perfect work, but it's a beautiful work anyways. The work of youth. It's not metal or rock at all. It has nothing to do. I was completely, as you remember in the reaction video, was completely surprised. It's more a ballad of a classical style. Maybe we could say even a romantic ballad. But I see also a connection with traditional French-Canadian music. In folk songs, we have a style called complainte. The complainte is a kind of song that can be quite lengthy sometimes, but it expresses very well the sadness of a departed, for example, someone who died at war. I would crisscross it with romantic ballad and folk complaint. Now, in terms of meaning, the song talks about the tragic death of an innocent, of a close one, a friend. And this person is called an angel on earth. This person is a very good person on earth. But the person is named angel before death and angel after death. He becomes, or this person becomes, a guardian angel. Now, it talks about the pain of those surviving the tragedy. not finding relief in either imagination or traditional explanation of the rite. I'm not sure who or what is the rite here, but there is a traditional explanation, the lessons of Christ, or the work of imagination, this novel that we talked about, Shangri-La. But the text says, my ignorance brings me light. And it ends with prayer to the Lord why these things happen. Now, may death not fall too fast on those who remains. There's a plea in the C sections that death does not fall on good people too fast. It's way too fast. And also may the angels bring relief to those who survive these tragic accidents. What is the meaning of the song, of the title then? Well, the angels here are good persons, and losing the best before their time leaves us with a question about how our world. It seems that the world we live in kills the best of us. Of course, it's an impression. I don't think the world kills more good people than bad people. I think it's life. But the impression is that sometimes very good people should have stayed longer, because we need that kindness, we need that goodness. We need those good ones to stay here. And there are still hearts needing care and still hands needing other hands. So please, don't leave too fast. Don't make them leave too fast, whether it's asked to the Lord or to the other angels. This is it, dear friends. The fifth song will be Gethsemane. Sorry about a small mistake from the album Ocean Born 1998, so we change. It's the album now. I made a small mistake last week. The reaction will be in French as usual, with subtitles in English, Spanish, and Italian. Of the studio version, you know already that, with lyrics. And I will react to a live version. This week was a little bit different because there was no live version of Nightwish, but there was one live version, a fan-made video of Tarja singing the song, so we used it. Was not satisfied with the quality though, but it served the purpose. The premiere of that reaction video is always on Wednesdays 7:30 in Western Europe and 1:30 in Eastern Standard Time for the American continent, Northeast, North, South. The East is 1:30. Friday or Saturday, the analysis of the same song will come out. Don't forget to subscribe, to push the little button if you want to be notified. This is it, my dear friends, the song Angels Fall First. We continue our journey next week with Gethsemane. See you guys. Bye-bye.